Hey everybody, it's Bust with week 2 of the Tarjeta NA Draft League. We managed to win our first week. Week 1 we played against last season's champion Grim. We managed to pull out victory, and now this week we'll be doing battle up against Alaexander. And so if you don't remember our decks from last week, I will scroll through them again really quickly. We have our Bard Freylord deck here, which I expect to get banned every time. This does have Bard, a big collection of unit boosters in Bird and Esmuth, a pretty decent curve, some decent interaction, and then some of the big epics that you would expect to find coming out of Freylord between things like Buried in the Ice and have Roshan Hearthguard. And so I don't expect to be able to play this one. Opponents don't really want to be playing against Howling Abyss and Tryndamere Unlimited, but it kind of is what it is. Maybe we'll get to battle with it before the season's over. Deck number 2 is our Poppy Rally deck. This is a really low-to-the-ground deck focused on getting Poppy on a full board and then producing some rallies with the likes of Relentless Pursuit and Golden Aegis. This is the kind of standard go-wide deck. You could be used to these in Constructed, whether or not you're closing out the game with Poppy and a rally or a For Demacia and a rally. This deck is capable of doing both. Another very powerful offering here with this Bandle City Demacia and triple Poppy. The last deck of the 3, this is our wildcard deck, PNZ Noxus. We were trying to assemble a very aggressive Noxus deck. Didn't quite see the cards that we were looking for. Not a big load of early game plays, not a big collection of burn spells, but we did manage to piece together a reasonable curve. We have a big late game full of Overwhelm, topping things off with the likes of Captain Farron, and then we do have the Shiraz the Blade, Kato the Arm combo. And so lots of real potential to go for big booms coming out of a deck like this. More than happy to deploy a Elixir of Wrath onto a Shiraza and then have her boosted by Kato the Arm come in for the biggest of booms, but most certainly our least consistent deck, but one of the more powerful options that we have. Okay, then to take a quick peek at our opponent's decks, they have Bilgewater Freylord, they have Ionia plus Targon, and then they have a Evelyn Shadow Isles deck. And to take a quick peek at these, I'm more than happy to just come out and immediately ban the Freylord offering. It's got some super high-powered epics in it between the Howling Abyss and Feel the Rush. It's got 3 copies of Twisted Fate for a lot of real power. It looks like they might have tried to build around Alawi just a little bit. They do have Alawi Answered Prayers and then 2 copies of Riptide Sermon. But it looks to be very high risk, high reward coming out of this. It seems like a lot of the strategies they were coming for didn't quite come together, but they do still have that oops, I win power that comes from Freylord. And I think that we can better take advantage of the other decks. And so I think if we can get into like a real slogfest with our other 2, or I said, say at least with our Poppy deck, we should be fine. I don't really want to take our Poppy deck into a triple Twisted Fate offering. And so this is the one I'm looking to ban. We'll just go ahead and get these high-powered epics out of here. The other 2, we have this Aphelios number here. It looks like it's trying to be a control deck, but it didn't quite get the Aphelios themes together or the control themes together or whatever they were trying to pull off. It's just kind of a mishmash of unfortunately low-quality cards, in my opinion. And so this is the one I feel like we can really take advantage of with our Shiraza deck. I think we have to kind of just think in terms of Poppy is probably going to be okay against everything. Shiraza is what we have to worry about, and I think we can take advantage of this one. It has 1 copy of Hush, 1 copy of Sunburst, and then that's really it in terms of interactivity. There's an Ionian Tellstones up here as well that can become a Homecoming, but not a lot of targeted removal, not a lot of bounce. If we're just dealing with 3 cards, then that's kind of fine. The power level amongst this is pretty low as well. If you're trying to play cards like Starry Scamp and Scaled Snappers, it's pretty tough to just get a good curve in here, although a grindy game against this isn't going to be super ideal, right? Has the 2 copies of Solari Priestess, Mountain Scryer, the Star Shaping, 2 copies of Aphelios, and so if we go long, this one's going to be a problem. But I think we can win these games before their cards come online because our curves are strong and our cards require a bit of removal or a bit of interactivity. I think this one will be okay. And then the last one here, the Evelyn Shadow Isles deck, very much the same, right? I worry about our opponent's removal, but this one looks pretty light, right? How are they going to interact with Shiraza? They have 1 copy of Vile Feast, they have 1 copy of Vengeance, and then 2 copies of Grasp of the Undying, and that's it. And so they do have some ways to kind of interact with our combos, but not a large collection of removal coming out of this. I'm not ultra worried about Evelyn, although they do have some good sacrifice themes here with Evelyn and Callista. This is just another deck to where it kind of needs a lot to go right to really get kicking off. Like, their late game's going to be better than ours. We're never going to beat a Harrowing, but I don't think the strategies here are too cohesive. And so I feel like with our decks, our curve is lower, we're faster, our synergies are much higher, and we're looking to abuse opponents that don't have much synergy, or not so much synergy, but don't have a bunch of interactivity, and that's what we're kind of seeing out of this. I'm not running into a bunch of Blighted Caretakers and Vile Feasts and things that will really punish our aggressive draws. I think we can take advantage of these quite well. And so that is the plan. I expect to get our Freylord deck banned. We're going to ban our opponent's Freylord deck, and then I feel pretty good against both of these decks with both Shiraza, given our opponent's limited interactivity, and then Poppy, since they don't have too much in the way of removal or AoEs. I think our high-powered synergies are going to be able to take advantage of what's happening here. And so, with the decks out of the way, let's go ahead and jump on into the games. Okay, man, I almost let it get away from us. I almost forgot to pay the pay-to-win price. As the new cards have been released, I assume that we just have everything premium. I didn't even bother looking at the Freylord deck because we're never going to get to play any of those. But we got a couple of hits in here with our Poppy deck. We have the Heroic Refrain and the Royal Decree. Let's just go ahead and boost up that Royal Decree, right? There is a chance that we come out here and summon an Honored Lord with this, and so those are always the best ones to turn premium, right? If we get to share the prismaticness with our opponent, that's just the most kind thing that you could do for your opponent. And so, with that out of the way, we are officially ready. Let's get ourselves queued up. All right, here we go. So let's see where we at. Draft deck 1, draft deck 2, draft deck 3. Easy peasy. The best of threes. And okay, so we were planning on coming out here and banning the Freylord deck. I don't think anything's going to change taking a look at the deck list. I mean, I guess if we pull it up and there aren't any epics in it, then maybe we'll change our mind. But yeah, I'm not really amped about this this Howling Abyss Field of Rush number here. So that's going to be the one that we're going to ban. Go ahead and take that one out. Should have taken a peek at these others. I just wanted to. I wanted to check real quick if he was playing cards like Hush. He does have Hush into this one, and Starburst. That's fine. Oh, he lets us play our Freylord deck. Sweet. And then to the Callista deck. Let's have to come back to it, I guess. All right, but if it comes down to it here, I want to play our Shiraza the Blade deck twice. So that's the one we take into battle first. I got used to having that 5-minute timer in seasonals. It's a little bit quicker than expected. All right, this hand's a little bit expensive. We'll keep the Boom Crew Rookie just to make sure we have an early play. That looks a little bit better. What a warrior's row of badasses in here. You've been playing a lot of these in Constructed? Doubt it. All right, but not terrible. I mean, we have a curve. I'm always happy to have these. Like, it looks a little bit better if you just say I have Runeweaver and Legion Veteran. It's not nearly as bad then. But the way that we want this deck to sequence out, so we want to get these early game units in, ideally get a bit of chip damage going, and then after that we can try and close it out with the overwhelms. And so we've at least drawn our deck in the right order. We didn't hit any champions or any high-powered cards, but having a good curve is often enough. Okay, got that turn 1 Zoe. Nothing we can do about that. See if they bring the open attack on us. I feel a little bit better. It's not that bad. They don't get to to bring that much of a rush onto us. And then here, like, I think the Runeweaver's fine. We'll see what unit that they follow up with, but we might get some value out of this Black Rose Spy later. I doubt it. But there's not a whole lot of sequences that we're going to run into to where we're like, okay, well, we got this Black Rose Spy down. Opponent can't come down and trade with us anymore. Oh, and an Annie? That's kind of interesting because I'm not particularly wanting to get Golden Crushbot down. This is basically just curve filler and doesn't do anything aggressive. And so let's move in with a Boom Crew Rookie. We have the +2 attack fragment in our hand, and so if they drop a unit that looks, you know, immediately intimidating to the rookie, then we'll have some potential to just grow and punch him through this combat, right? Normally he would be able to say, okay, here's my Sparkleologist, I'm going to block your Boom Crew Rookie, but it's not as big of a worry now, right, since he can't just get the free block and then block again next time. Okay, rip Annie. She was going to do literally nothing else this game, and so might as well go ahead and send her in. Uh-oh, there's Shiraza. Just need Kato now. I don't think I'm quite ready to drop her. We'll continue to look for just a good curve here. Like, if we immediately draw Kato next turn, then, you know, fine, whatever. But chances are she wouldn't be able to punch in for an overwhelm. So we'll have to wait just a little bit before we can get her going. But if we do just draw Kato next turn, the Legion Veteran is still a fantastic target in terms of punching in a bunch of damage. Alright, so I'm leaning towards the Poros now. Like the Thorn of the Rose, probably not attacking this turn, but it's going to be, I think, a little bit better than getting this Black Rose Spy down. Maybe we do end up attacking with it, but just keep this board cleared a little bit. With all these star charts going about, I'm surprised we haven't been seeing the likes of just like the zero cost challenger. That would be fairly awkward given these boards, but it's okay. Go ahead and slam it in. Whoa, summon a big boy. No, it's not a big boy. I thought this thing summoned like an 8/8 or something. I guess that's not how it works. But we are getting pretty heartily valued out of this game. We need something that can close it quickly. It is nice to grow a little bit with some of these cards, but we need a bit of punch to go through. He's got a literal million cards in his hand right now. We got this reputation 1, though. Tarek comes in. It's not super ideal. Like, if we say Guile, or if we don't Guile Tarek, then he gets to attack with Zoe and we don't have good blocks. I think this is a reasonable enough time to just stop him, to keep the Zoe off our back, and then we can still follow up with our plays. I'm going to go ahead and drop Shiraza this turn. Ideally, we'll find ourselves in a spot to where we just pick up a big Overwhelm next turn, or we pick up a Kato. Alright, they only had a couple of cards we're really worried about in that sense. I guess he could have picked up an Equinox off of a star chart. I don't remember if he played his star charted card yet, but it's not that big of a deal. He's played 2 Moonglows, right? That's the second one. So he shouldn't have an Equinox in hand. Alright, time for the combo. Not quite. Not quite. So Tarek's got to be a good block this turn. If I'd known the Moonglow was coming in, I wouldn't have spent the Guile on Tarek, but it's not the end of the world with him getting a single good block. It would be the end of the world if he was able to play the big Daybreak unit, like the Twin Sisters. but Zoe's real close to flipping too. Sure. That gets her up to 9. Check out those skins. Such premium. Such skin. Fuck, he did have it. Okay. At least we still have... Well, our quick attacks are pretty terrible here. Oh yeah, this one's done. Okay. GG. Just didn't draw our good cards fast enough. Was a little unfortunate there. All right. Let's try it again. Poor Shiraza. She's totally dating Kato, and then he didn't even show up. So what a problematic day. What's in here real quick? I didn't get as much of a look at this deck list as I wanted to. It does have some width in it with like the likes of these Crawling Sensations. Has a single Hate Spike, 1 Vile Feast, and then 1 Vengeance in terms of removal, 2 Grasp of the Undyings. Okay, it's a little dangerous for our cards, but I still feel okay if we can push out an early curve here. Not nearly as much value running through this deck as the other one, but there is quite a strong late game in there between the Harrowing and the Champions and the Invasive Hydrovine. Definitely need to get out in front of this one. All right, so at least get to start with some of our good cards here. Not going to hang on to Kato, but do we want to hang on to a Trifarian Glory Seeker? I mean, probably not. It's just going to function as kind of a removal spell, and we don't have any ways to give it quick attack. And so we'll hang on to Teemo most certainly, but let's see if we can't find a little bit more early curve. I just imagine playing against the deck that has all of those like Vile Feast and Hake Spike cards and Crawling Sensations and everything, that he's just going to have a really tough time ever being relevant. And so we might get to use it later in terms of, we hit our single Vile Feast, huh? We might get to use it a little bit later in terms of just trying to take down a big unit. All right. Not a bad start. Well, we're ready if the combo turns up. If we get our Shiraza, if we get our Overwhelms going, we got the big Rising Spell Force to protect us in combat a little bit. I guess we could have called our Rising Spell Force as our way to protect against protect our big challenger, but that sounds fairly meh.
You are nothing. Worthless. Impress me.
Okay. So how bad can this next turn go? Right, he was playing like 2 or 3 copies of Evelyn. If he hits an Evelyn next turn, we have a bit of opportunity to struggle. Well, we're just never dealing damage next round. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to find our Overwhelms to punch through here. So let's add in Draven. Our attacks will still be good. The quick attacks and the big health should function against this fine. I'm gonna say, yeah, just having it all. We're still sort of okay. I mean, if he wants to block with Evelyn, we have an easy takedown with the Rising Spell Forces, but this is a tough collection of cards to have to deal with. Essentially ran into the constructed deck today. I would expect, just if there's any blocks, I would expect it from the Spiderlings and no risk to Evelyn. Sure. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's risky. Let's get him, Draven. Show Evelyn what Draven Time's all about. It's not terrible. It's still have to worry, like, if they get to start dropping Viego or something, they just have all the time in the world to hit their big cards with all the width that they were able to put down, and so need to find something. Okay, I don't think they were playing Atrocity. I'm not super upset about taking this damage here. And then maybe next turn we can get something going, right? We'll have Thorn of the Rose down. We can Shock Blast and then hopefully punch in a big hit. We're not going to get a like a game-winning hit in next turn, but we're getting close to some serious damage. She just like permanently flipped already? No, she'll go back to weak side next turn. Needs one more kill.
Don't waste my time. I want more.
So what do we got? Do we want to drop Eager Apprentice? He's pretty terrible here, if we're going to be real about it. Just don't have a lot of great attacks on this board. All of our units are very tiny, and we only have the singular combat trick to try and fight through this. I mean, curious if we need to just try and like level up Draven, so we actually have an Overwhelm unit. Because just like fighting through all these little spiders and getting 2-for-1 all over the board isn't going to be a game winner. But like, what happens if we just open here, right? He gets to block all of our units. Like he puts Spider in front of Thorn of the Rose, Domination in front of Trifari, and just takes 3 from Draven. And we're just like super far back. I think we're stuck like trying to Shock Blast some of this board. Like we can take these 2 down even though they aren't high value targets. And then at least maybe get some width coming out of this. We get to say add the Eager Apprentice and then get a decent Brothers Bond, right? We might find a Brothers Bond into Evelyn, or we can just Guile Evelyn and then maybe have a good attack. I think the Shock Blast is what we're just kind of stuck doing. We need these big boys. If we can scroll down in our deck, like this is the point in time we have to be finding Katos and the rest of our Overwhelm package. Okay.
How can I help?
So are we? I think this is okay. Like we'll see if he has any additional plays. Ew. Does. It's like we're back to this spot to where if we attack with everybody, and then he gets like a spider in front of the Trifarian, he gets a conductor in front of the Thorn of the Rose, he gets the Islander in front of Eager Apprentice. We just don't get to do anything this turn. But we don't have like enough Overwhelm power to kind of fuck around. But like, what else are we gonna draw out of our deck to kind of turn that around? We don't have the removals. I think we just have to pass and wait and hope that we hit like a Kato or an Overwhelm card or something. There's the Kato piece of the equation.
Yes, I bite.
All right. So in this world we live in, is the Thorn of the Rose going to get to take down Evelyn? It'll be pretty sweet if it does. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty on board with that happening. And so we'll take a 4-hit here. If we win this combat, that's going to be great. Would have been a pretty scary Evelyn with the elusive hitting. Sure. All right. What time is it? Y'all know what time it is? It's Kato time. Let's see what you can do, friend.
That was hot.
Teemo's here to party. I mean, he just doesn't really do anything here. I kind of like the idea of keeping Teemo back and then being able to like Rising Spell Force a block out of him or something. I mean, I think that's the best we can really ask for with Teemo. He's not going to provide too much on this board. And if he wants to get Evelynn involved, we're ready with the Rising Spell Force. He's like the removal that he has that can take down their Trifarian is limited to Grasp of the Undying and then the Vengeance. And so I don't think we're going to be in too much of a spot to where he sends Evelynn in and then we have to Rising Spell Force, then our unit gets killed. But stranger things have happened. And then if he gets a little too clever this turn, we have 4, 8. We technically have 10 damage out of hand. We might find ourselves just going for it here. Curious. Oh, he's bringing in Evelynn. So at best, right, we're punching in for 7 here. 8. Yeah, just have 10 out of hand. Again, I'm pretty worried about this elusive husk that's sitting on the board. Taking down Evelynn here is by no means a guaranteed win, but at least this does a little something on the board. Uh-oh. See what kind of husk bro is going to come down. Oh, we just get a pass? Okay. All right, so maybe things will be okay if we get the opportunity to, say, guile a big play. That might do something for us. Not particularly interested in this unit getting to attack. There goes his Vengeance as well. When I'm summoned, transform me into an exact copy of the strongest ally that struck this round. So you gotta stop and read that. It might be able to get to flip into Kato next turn, but not just yet. I think we're stuck with stunning here. We're gonna have a bit of trouble getting through this. This is one of those spots where you're just supposed to go, LOL, it's Captain Farron, right? That's why I really like to just ban out these Freylord decks, as we play games like this that just grind on to what's going to be turn 10. It's not uncommon whatsoever, and then you get the opportunity to just be like, oh, cool, here's Field of Rush, right? There's just such high-powered epics coming out of this faction compared to the other ones that it's a little dangerous. All right, this is fine. We can take 2 from the band. He doesn't have Hallowed yet. Oh boy, Thresh. Okay. So if he threshes our Kato, there's still a world where we get to... All right, well, we might get to do something with the Black Rose Spy this turn. He brings in Draven. I mean, that's really like the best I can imagine happening with the Spy. Now, the new question would be, do we want to flip this Draven, right? Giving him Overwhelm isn't super exciting, since we can just get that from Kato. I think we'll just stick to having all these extra spinning axes in our hand. But right, never blocking this Ghastly Band. We're going to follow up with the Black Rose Spy. Okay. Oh, changed his mind. Unchanged his mind. I guess some minor argument to that is you do get to put a bit of damage onto Thresh, and so he would have a little bit less Overwhelm. but it's tough. Let's add in. Should we add in Teemo? He's never doing anything. Big boy. Okay. So what's our overwhelm situation here? Like, he's gonna block. We attack with everybody. He blocks Kato with the Dead Bloom Wanderer. Goes up to 16. We're never getting a lethal on this board, but we have to get this dumb out of here. And then if he wants to keep the Wanderer behind, I think that's okay. Punch in for 6. 8. Be 1 short. Oh my gosh, should we have gotten that Teemo down? It's still pretty dangerous, but... Right. If we're going to attack him down to 5... Oh man, maybe we should... Well... No, it would have been okay. He would have just put the Unleashed Spirit in front of Kato, and we wouldn't have. Well, we may have gotten a lethal in there if we got to. Yeah, maybe that was terrible. I don't know, fam. We might have just tossed that one, throwing that one right in the old dumpster. Sentinel, bring in the Decimate. We'll play the Decimate now, so if we draw a Shock Blast, we have a chance to burn them out, and maybe they don't kill us with their open attack. I'm a little worried about the the state of that open attack, but maybe Teemo will carry us through next turn. The Harrowing. Okay. I don't know. It's going to depend on how he attacks. If he attacks with these bad units, we might be able to survive this. I wonder what champions even has left. Callista or Viego? Yeah. Damn. I think that's gonna do it. Oh, it's just a Callista. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. What was that? What am I missing? She's 3? Oh, is she gonna flip or something? God damn it. Whew. And so yeah, maybe we should have gotten that Teemo in. I really had it kind of like wrapped up in my head that we needed that Teemo as a blocker. I felt like if we got into a situation to where that elusive unit was able to continue to attack, then we would have just fallen apart, and he would have gained too much health. But oh man, that was brutal. To see that life total land on 1, we should have probably pulled that attack back and seen if we would have gotten in with the Teemo. But this is ultimately what I was worried about with our lineup, right? And why I'm pretty happy to get to play this deck twice. And that, well, I'm not happy to play it twice. This is the real weak link to our deck, though. It has to have a lot go right for it, and that was a pretty challenging lineup to have to run up against. And so, well played, GG's. We'll have to see if we can't recover the rest of the way and hopefully pull off some wins with our Shiraza deck. But nonetheless, well played, Alaexander. The victory is yours. Good luck next week, and we'll see you for the next set of battles.